Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Marlu and this is May in the Books, and today I'm going to show you the 13 books I read in the month of November. So this is really crazy because it's a lot of books and I was like going through them so quickly, but then the last week and a half I've not read a thing. And that just sucks because I was like really like motivated to reach my 100 books goal, and then it went so well and now I'm out of it, out of the reading um drive. So hopefully after filming this video I'll be motivated to read again. So let's just start with the first book. That is Kate in Waiting by Becky Albertalli. This book is about a girl, Kate, and her best friend Anderson, and they're in high school, they do theater together and they're best friends, and he's gay, so they always have the same crush and that's just their thing. But then there's new guy and then the crush becomes something more. So basically the main characters both want the same guy and they're also in theater. That's what this book is about. I give this like 3 stars. This is not a bad book, but it's just very, I mean, if I was 12 I could have enjoyed this book, you know what I mean? It's not really, it's very YA in a sense that it's just not really for adults anymore, right? I just really wanted to read a book about musicals and I just thought it looked cute. So it was not a waste of time. It was fun, but just a little too childlike for my personal taste. Then I read The Akatas by Kathleen Glasgow and Liz. I have the book. I read it as an ebook on Next Story. I don't know what I rated this. Maybe less than 3 stars. No, maybe 3 stars. I don't know. Same thing. YA, not that interesting. It's like a murder mystery, but it's not thrilling at all. And I just didn't really like it. It was just a bit boring and also a little bit like, I don't know. It was lacking. I just start to learn that I don't like Kathleen Glasgow's writing. Everything she writes bores me a little. Even though it's about like serious subjects, it does not get me thrilled. It just gets me like, ugh. So I should just stop reading her. That's what I learned from this. Then I read Alina Knows. I already sold the book. This was a very interesting book that I had on my TBR, like not physical TBR, but I had it on my mind for a very long time that I wanted to read it. And it's a short book. It's about an older lady who has lost her daughter to suspected suicide, but she thinks it's not suicide. And she has Parkinson's, so it's like my grandmother has Parkinson's, so that reading this book was really hard for me at times. The first 2 parts were kind of like, okay, I don't know where this is going, and then the 3rd part I really liked. Just good literary fiction. Yeah, definitely a book that kind of sticks with you, so I would say I would give that 3.75 stars. Then I read The Skies Everywhere by Jenny Nelson. I gave this, with 13 books I definitely don't remember the ratings, but yeah, I read I'll Give You the Sun, I think last year, and I gave it 5 stars. I loved it so much. And then this book kind of fell flat because this book does read very YA, and it is, I think it is YA, but then the main character in this book does things like she's like literally dating multiple guys. It's like it reads as YA, but the subjects are pretty like intense for YA. So Lenny's sister has died, so she's kind of like mingling with her sister's boyfriend because they're both sad. And then she also got this new guy who she likes, and yeah, so it's kind of about her grief and her romances with these guys, and it's fine and okay, but it definitely didn't have the magic I'll Give You the Sun had. That book is also about grief and loss and relationships, but that one just hit so much harder than this one. So it was like a fine read, but not really super memorable or anything. Then I read Nothing to See Here by Kevin Wilson. I adored this book. This is about 2 girls who were friends in boarding school and they don't talk much anymore, but then Lillian, the main character, gets invited to her house to watch her stepchildren because they combust into flames. And I wanted to read this book because someone recommended it to me, and then I bought it and then had it in my home and I read the text and I was like, how is this going to be interesting? But I loved it so much. It's pretty short. It's mostly just about these women and their characters, and it just had fun little quirks and stuff. Like I just love I even like I don't I don't write in my books or anything, but if I like a quote or whatever, I will take a picture of it. So there's one line where they see each other again for the first time in years, and I liked it a lot. I didn't love the ending. I really, this could have been a 5 star if the ending was different. Not that the ending is better or anything. Just at the end, it was like, oh yeah, it's a book. You know what I mean? Well, throughout the story, I was like, I am there. I am enjoying it. So this is a really fun book. When I say I love literary fiction, this is what I mean. Actual fun, actual things that I want to underline, that I want to tab. Like that is what I want every book to be. Just entertaining, fun, and something to think about. I love it. Then I read Songs in Ursa Major by Emma Brody. I listened to this as an audiobook, so I've been listening to it for a very long time. I had that on my TBR, like mentally on my TBR for a very long time because I love Daisy Jones and the Six. I love books about famous people, about bands. I love books set in like the 60s. So I thought it was going to be the perfect book for me, but this book fell flat. Things happen, but it's just all out of the blue. Two people are attractive, they're in love. Um, she can sing, she's famous. You know what I mean? It's not good. I think I give it 2 stars, something like that. Like it had all the potential, but it never even felt like you were actually in the 60s. There was no description of anything. And then the main character, should talk a bit about the book. The main character is Jane, and she lives with all the women in her family except for her mom, because her mom like ran away or something. And then she has a band and they perform because they have to stand in for this famous dude. Um, she falls in love with the famous dude. Like all the women in her family have similar names, like June, Grace, Jackie. No, not Jackie. I don't know. But you have no idea who's who. Because they're all just women with similar names. I have no idea who is who. I don't know who the grandma is. I don't know who the aunt is. I don't know who the mother is. Like, I have no idea. So that's not great. And then also just it's just lacking. Like at some point in the book you have this romance, but never once you feel like this girl's actually like super in love with this guy. Like I don't feel it. Like if the plot point was going to be that she's a romantic, I would have believed it, right? But that wasn't the plot. So it just lacked. It had just a really like easy story to make fun. Like you write about a band in the 60s who are going to get famous. Like it's so easy to make it entertaining, right? So that fell flat. It wasn't for me. I don't recommend it. Then I read Toxic by Sarah Shepard. This is the second to last book in the Pretty Liars series. My goal for this year was to finish the series, so I'm definitely going to be doing that. I gave it a 3.2. At this point, I cannot rate this book. I cannot rate these books high because they're not good. Like it's not like it's. There's so many books this series, and it's unhinged, and I enjoy it. I read these books in 2 days, easy. But is it like super different each book? No, definitely not. But yeah, I just wanted to get through the series because I am watching the show for the 10th time now. No, I'm not okay. So yeah, I read it. It's fun like always. Is it totally ridiculous that this series has so many books? Absolutely. Doesn't make any sense. But it's fun. Then I read To All the Lonely People as an ebook. This was a really good book. I didn't know if it was going to be for me because it seems like the kind of story that is just not really for me, but it was good. It's about this old guy who lies to his daughter that he has a social life, but actually is just holed up into his house. Hashtag relatable. Hashtag why am I relating to a 60-year-old man? But then his daughter is about to get home again, so he needs to make new friends, and then they start a club for lonely people, and it's cute. The characters feel real enough, and it's a fun book. I enjoyed it. It was good. Then I listened to Tom Lake by Anne Patchett as an audiobook, and listen, you will never hear me excited about audiobooks until now. This book is narrated by Meryl freaking Streep, and she just makes it into an experience. Every word she read out loud was playing like a play in my head. And the book is also about plays. So the book, what it's about, it's I love it. I think it's very empathic because I've read a book by her before, and that was also about um like telling stories from the childhood kind of thing. Commonwealth. But yeah, this is about our main character, Laura, and she goes to play Emily in the play. I don't know what the play is called. It's called The Town. I don't know. And then she goes to New York, I think, and then she goes to Tom Lake. So she's just like a little actress just playing Emily basically. And then it's mostly about the guy she dated in Tom Lake because he's a famous actor, and she's telling the story to her 3 daughters who are all home back in the farm because of COVID. So it's not really about COVID, thank God, but the kids are all there just helping around the farm because of COVID. So it makes sense that they're all there just listening to her story every day, and they just want to know about this famous actor that she dated. So that's what the story is about, and it's just I loved it. I loved it. It was really fun. I thought it was a great time. I just love living their life, and it's just literary fiction. It's fun, and Meryl Streep was so good. Like, I want her to read everything, and I could get to any book she narrates. It's so good, so I definitely recommend the audiobook. Um, yeah, I don't love the ending because towards the end some things happen. I'm like, that's not really necessary for me. But other than that, fun book. I had a great time. Good surprise. Normally audiobooks never get a high rating because I'm like, ugh. But Meryl Streep, she does it. And then I was like, okay, we're going so quickly through the books. I'm going to just read shorter books and get through the 100 book challenge. So I read Changing with the Tides, which is a poetry collection. I read it as an ebook on Next Story. It was just kind of it was not bad, but it was like I could have written this when I was 16, right? And that's not like a props to me, but it just didn't feel super special or inspired, or the language didn't feel like you studied for. You know what I mean? I just read through it really quick, but I was never really touched by any of it. It felt just a little bit like my 16-year-old diary. So fine, but Then I read Hoe overleef ik alles wat ik niemand vertel by Francine Omen. This is a Dutch book, and it was raved so much about. People were saying it's fantastic, whatever. So to give a bit of a backstory, she is a children's book author, and everyone my age and a little bit older, maybe younger, has read her books growing up. Same for me. And now she made this whole thing that she was going to interview people of my age and older to really get the experience of being in your 20s now in this time. And she hyped it up a lot. People were hyping it up a lot. Everyone I knew that loved books was buying the book. So it was crazy. And I was like, okay, I'm not gonna buy it because it's super expensive. And then I saw it was an audiobook on Next Story. And then I was just like, let's give it a shot. That was a train wreck. This was so bad. Did I enjoy it? Low-key, a little bit. I think I give it 1.5 stars. Listen, it reads as a children's book, but then there's just so much trauma and bad shit happening, drugs, alcohol, all the bad things that can happen to you happens to every person. It's too much, unrealistic, but it's it reads still as a children's book. So it's I hate that. I hate that so much. Either you are writing a children's book and it gives you comfort, or you're writing about traumatic adult events, but then you need to match your writing style to that, in my opinion. It was just a lot happened. Way too much. It didn't make sense. There are some things in the book I don't want to say because it's a spoiler, but I've seen a lot in the reviews. People are mad about it. I'm mad about it too. Some things happen, and the character who it happens to does things while it's happening that is not okay. If you've read it, you know what I'm talking about. That is not okay to just write about that like that. No. So I enjoyed this experience. I was on a bus ride and a train ride for 3 hours. So I almost finished the entire book in that. Well, no, I finished half the book while I was riding the bus. So it was good because I was not wanted to read physically because I get nauseous on a bus. So I was it was great to get through the book because I was stranded on the highway in a bus. But yeah, it was not good. I'm not gonna say it's good because it's not. And then I read Nachtvlinders, also a Dutch book by Diske de Schepper, who is a YouTuber but also a singer. And I have been to 2 of her concerts. I really like her songs, and this book was fine. I like the poetry. Her poetry is great. Like it's actually like not like the other poetry book I read, so it's like a little bit better than that. So I enjoyed that. The short stories were, you know, you can just tell when people are not authors, and it's fine. It was a fun, quick book, and I like her, so you know, it's fine. It's like a 3 stars. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's also not like super good, you know. The last book I read was Norwegian Wood by Haruki Murakami. This book I started way back. I abandoned it at 80 pages because I was not going through it, and then I finally finished it. The writing is interesting. It's literary fiction. It's about this person, and he has a best friend, and the best friend has a girlfriend, and he like, I don't know what I can say about this. Anyways, it's just about his life and about the few friends he has. And this book, yeah, trigger warning, there are a lot of suicides in here. But yeah, this book, it gave me the ick multiple times because, and every woman in this book is described like she looks like a literal child underneath her clothes. So like in a sexual way, it's described as a child. So for me, this gave me very much written by a pedophile vibes. And I don't want to say that, okay? Because I don't know this guy, I don't know the story, I know this book is old, but it gave me kind of Lolita vibes, I'm not gonna lie. There's even, like, big trigger warning, there's literal pedophilia in this. I did not like how he described girls. Like, these are grown-up girls or women, and you talk about them like there's literal like words like adolescence in it, and you know, all those words that are like icky and then in a sexual sense, and it's like, I hate it so much. It was very depressing, and I didn't enjoy it a lot. Not to say it's bad, but it's not really my thing. Yeah, it was not a bad book, just not my cup of tea, and I don't like the description of women. So if you've read it, please let me know if you thought the same thing, because I was like grossed out every 10 pages. Okay, well, those were all the 13 books I read this month. Crazy. Hopefully in December I can read again, because this is my last month. My last chance is to read 100 books. Oh my god. No stress. So yeah, I'm just going to pick up reading again, because I need to get through books to finish the 100 books challenge. I'm currently filming a challenge video for that, so definitely subscribe to this channel to see that video, and please leave a like and a comment if you like this one. I want to thank you so much for watching, and I would love to see you next time. Bye!